Hey guys, it's NCS Fan 001 here. It's been a little while since I've done a video where you could actually see me. I mean, just cooking videos otherwise. So today we are going to finally be answering all the Q&A questions from a video that I uploaded like 3 weeks ago. Finally getting around to record this because I wanted to wait to where I could actually be able to show myself on it. So anyway, let's get started. We got lots of questions to ask. Let's see what all we got. First off, we have Nibbles asking what was my favorite Mario game. If I had to say a favorite Mario game, I loved Super Mario Sunshine, as weird as that sounds, loved Galaxy, and of course Paper Mario 2 is right up there as well, so those are probably my top 3 for Mario. Though there are certainly other games I've loved, some of the Mario parties and Mario Karts and stuff, no question there. Random text message. It's Will of C asks, what is the best way to start recording gameplays or trophy guides? You inspire me. I always wanted to do YouTube, but camera shy. Well, thanks for that. And first off, don't worry about being too camera shy because with a lot of these videos and stuff, you don't have to be in front of the camera. I'm usually not in front of the camera. I'm usually behind the proverbial camera or capture card. But if you want to get started, just, find something that you enjoy, find games that you enjoy or know a lot about, and just play them. Have fun with it, don't worry too much about channel growth. It'll come slowly or it might come really quickly, but it'll come naturally as long as you just keep putting in the effort. So that would definitely be my tip for that. List Professional W as well as Jurea is Faya are asking what is my favorite platinum / what is the most fun platinum. I'm sort of just looping those in together. There have been a number that I absolutely love doing. Some of those would include SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I also loved Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Then, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered was definitely up there. And then South Park The Stick of Truth definitely deserves a good mention. So those are just a few of them, but it's really hard just to pick a single one that I love the most. But those were all some of my most fun and favorite ones I've done. Mofty asks, what inspired or what motivated you to start trophy hunting? I would say that it was just when I got my platinum in Resident Evil 5 all those years ago on PS3. Because before that I only had a couple of platinums that were fairly, not necessarily difficult to get and not a whole lot of effort put into actually obtaining them. But in the case of Resident Evil 5, that game was a little more challenging for me at the time, and I got the platinum in it, and I'm starting to think to myself, maybe I can actually get some more of these. So then I picked up a few more platinums by the end of 2012, and then started growing much more heavily in 2013 and 2014 and so on. But it wasn't like any one specific channel or person, if that's more what you're asking. Vider Caesar asks if there are any platinums I have given up on over the years, and to be honest, there aren't any that I've actually given up on that are still obtainable. I mean, there are some unobtainable platinums on my list, and I think that's addressed in a later question. But in terms of, I haven't actually given up on any platinums that are on my list currently. I would say that the closest I've come to it would be like Call of Duty Classic and Shadow of the Colossus PS3 because they're both pretty challenging, but I haven't exactly given up on them. I just haven't gone back to them yet. I'm just sort of saving those for when I get done with all these other backlog games. Those are pretty low down in the, I guess you could say, in the priority list. Ballyboff, I probably butchered that name horribly, asks, how do you have so much time for getting platinums, or is gaming my job? It's because I have very little of a life outside of gaming and YouTube and trophy hunting. And no, it is not my job, unfortunately. I've worked a number of other jobs throughout life, including right now, but no, gaming is not my full-time job, though it would be very cool if it someday got to that point. I highly doubt it ever will. I highly doubt my channel will ever get to that point, maybe if I start doing more on Twitch, but I don't know. But I don't really know if I even want it to get to that point of being my job, because I feel like then it would be harder to enjoy it. But it's not my job, and I just mostly spend all my free time with gaming. There isn't a whole lot of other stuff to do, especially in 2020 with everything else going on. Ace Sage asks, what is the best game I've played for trophies as well as the worst? So for best game, I would say that would include some of the Rockstar games, or The Last of Us Part 1, a couple of the Uncharted's, really just any really high quality game, because I've played a lot of the really high quality Sony exclusives, and even other just, not even Sony exclusives, but fantastic games like Fallout New Vegas. So there have been, really just pick your favorite of the AAA major games, and that could probably fill in there for an answer. As for worst games I've played, though, there have been quite a few. And that would include games like Ikimu. I remember not liking that one. Orc Slayer is a terrible game. What was that one? Dying Reborn, that one was awful. But I would say that the worst has to be Whitetail Challenge. There's a reason why there's only like 4 videos of it in existence. I don't know if it's as bad as like Shadow the Ronin and the rest of the Gilson B. Pontes games, and then there's Life of Black Tiger, which doesn't have a platinum. There's Ride to Hell Retribution, which I'm not going to play until I can find a way to play the DLC. I might have to game share it or something, I don't really know how to. But I would say that Whitetail Challenge is definitely at the bottom of the list, the bottom of the barrel for worst games I played. Given that it's the only game, including VR games, that has ever given me motion sickness and made me just want to like die while playing it. I'm not even kidding when I say that it was the only game that did that to me. Simon asks if there is anything that would cause me to stop trophy hunting. Not that I can think of, just I guess if I just completely ran out of time to just be completely unable to do it. But I don't see myself like losing the motivation ever or anything like that, so I don't really think there's anything that would stop me that I can think of off the top of my head, but there might be scenarios out there to where I would just not have enough time or anything to do it, but I don't really see that as being a likelihood. Lou Sensei says, congratulations, how do I choose what games I am going to platinum in the future? I really don't. I just sort of play them whenever I feel like playing random games. There's also whatever comes to me on GameFly, depending on the day, because GameFly jumps around as to which games I end up getting that are higher or lower on the list. But it's pretty much just random. Whatever I feel like playing at any given time. Usually try to do like splitting up, like, a Rattle-Lega game, and maybe an Artifacts Monday game, and maybe a miscellaneous game, and a AAA game. So no real cycles or anything like that, but it's not really anything... not really usually decided far in advance, aside from some of the milestone platinums. Johnny Stabs is asking me to show my folders and what games are in them and why. I could do that here, but I think it would probably be better off just to do that in a live stream in the future. But they're basically grouped by different developers and different franchises. But I can definitely show that off in an upcoming stream sometime this week, probably one of the Destroy All Humans streams once it comes out. So I can definitely do that there. That would be an easier time to do it. Samantha says, congrats on 10 years, and I'm fun to watch and listen to. I'm glad I can entertain people. And my top 5 favorite games of all time. That's also what Archie here has asked as to what my favorite game of all time is, as well as what the toughest platinum I have obtained was. So, in terms of favorite games of all time, I would say that Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas both have to be there. I would say OG Star Wars Battlefront 2, I have put so many hours into that back on PS2. And then I'd probably also say Call of Duty 4, well no, I don't know if I'd say Call of Duty 4 anymore, but I would say Modern Warfare 2, just because that game, I just played the crap out of that when it came out. Just so many hours put into it with other people in real life. I guess you could also put probably Black Ops 1 up there because I spent a lot of time playing it as well. So those are some of my favorite games of all time, and I can't really think of another one off the top of my head, but I loved a lot of the old Nickelodeon Activision games, such as Battle for Bikini Bottom, the Destroy All Humans franchise, the Mercenaries 2. So those are all some of my favorite games of all time. As for the toughest platinum I've ever obtained, I would say it was probably Killzone 2. Although maybe I would say that, because Killzone 2 is definitely high up there in terms of overall difficulty, but it's also just time-consuming with the multiplayer stuff you have to do. So I would think that was probably one of the most difficult and one of the most skill-based. Call of Duty World at War also gets an honorable mention up there because it can also be pretty challenging. So those would be probably my top 2 that I can think of, at least right now, and definitely probably would be my top 2. Arioka says, congrats on 10 years, as well as, do I continue trophy hunting for a game that I don't like, but had a trophy pop early on and now shows 1% completion? Fun fact, I've had that happen on like 2 or 3 games ever. I had that happen on, what were they? On GTA 5 PS3, when my neighbor Lizard Guy brought it over to play on PS3, and of course you have to beat like the intro parts of the game to be able to play the rest of it. So it has 1%. It's permanently hidden from my list because it's not even possible to do now. Another one is Payday 2, where I played it for like an hour and just could not get into it at all, but unfortunately earned a few trophies, so it's hidden. Maybe someday they'll give us the ability to delete incomplete trophy lists. I don't know. I could do a whole video on my thoughts on ideas for trophy hunting for the future on like PS5 and such. There was also Sly 3, which I wasn't sure at the time I was going to play it, but I had to play it a little bit to unlock Sly minigames, and of course I eventually did both versions of it, so I did go back and finish those. Haza Eng Warrior says, got any tips on trophy hunting? I would say start out by playing games that you actually really enjoy, you know, good games, games you enjoy, stuff like that. Start out that way. And if you figure that you want to keep doing a lot of trophy hunting, then you might have to invest more in things like the Ratalaika games and the cheap, quick, easy platinums. If you want to do a lot of PS3 games, I would highly suggest going to GameFly for a lot of those games, and even for some of the PS4 games, because GameFly can allow you to play them for a lot cheaper. So those are some good options for you. Father Jack asks what the longest trophy grind I've had is up to this point. I would say that it's probably both GTA 5 and Red Dead 2, because both of those platinums took over 200 hours when I did them. GTA 5, of course, has a very long single player and a very long multiplayer that requires a bit of boosting. Red Dead 2 is a lot faster and easier now that they have modified the gold medals in the single player, as well as new ways to get XP in the online. So it's not as bad now, but those are probably the two longest trophy grinds I've done so far. Then there were a few other really long ones, like Attack on Titan. That was a pretty long grind. Far Cry 2 is right up there. So those are a few other examples, but I would definitely say GTA 5 and Red Dead 2. SP Hunter 9 says, what is my favorite movie, or asks what is my favorite movie? I would say I love Saving Private Ryan. I love the original Star Wars trilogy as well as Rogue One. I love the original 1984 Red Dawn. Talladega Nights has always been one of my favorites, so those are all up there as my favorite movies. I don't have a single one favorite. I'm not really good at picking like one lone favorite at any time, but those are some of them for sure up there. Lazy Worm, long last name that has Panther in it, says, games that you want to be remastered. I would say I can't wait for the rest of the Nickelodeon Activision games to someday get a remastered treatment. I hope they will, at least, because Battle for Bikini Bottom didn't do all that well critically, so I hope that the rest of the games get their remake or remaster treatment. I would also love to see the original Mercenaries and the original Just Cause. I think they deserve that treatment. I'd say the other Destroy All Humans deserve it, primarily talking about Big Willie Unleashed, and Path of the Furon deserves some kind of treatment like that. I'd love to see the original Star Wars Battlefront 2, or really the original two Star Wars Battlefront games back on PS2, but I just don't ever see that happening. So those are definitely a few games I would love to see get a remastered treatment someday. POI 258 asked what my favorite console, or first console was. I guess I can say favorite and first. My first console, my first actual console was the GameCube, and it's still one of my favorites to this day, but I love the PS2, I love the Wii, but I would have to say my favorite would probably be the PS3 because it got me into YouTube and trophy hunting in general, so without it I would probably not be where I am right now, so it's probably my favorite, even though the GameCube was my first. Although I think I had a Game Boy and a Game Boy Advance before that. Apastu Slayer asks, when or which milestone am I going to stop trophy hunting? A question that's giving you goosebumps. Good news, I don't intend to stop at any point anytime soon. I feel like the place that a lot of people might stop might be at 1,000 platinums, but that's not currently my plans. I don't have plans to stop anywhere anytime soon, or really at all. But I guess you never know. I mean, situation could change in life, but I just don't really see it being likely. So there's no particular reason I would stop, especially not within the next few years or anything. So no, don't worry. I expect to continue trophy hunting for quite a long time. JGM4789 is asking if there are any series I would like to start working on getting plats, but haven't started because of having too many games or being too difficult or too long. I would say that, I'm just not into I know he suggested, Assassin's Creed, just not really into that franchise as a whole. Devil May Cry, that's another one I'm not really into. I would love to do all of the Soulsborne games and stuff. I'm just not sure I'm skilled enough to do them. So that's the main reasoning for that, and I feel like I would rage too much with them. But I would love to do all the Soulsborne games someday. I just don't know if that'll ever happen, really. So that's really about the main one I can think of, especially out of the suggested games. I can't really think of anything else. Secret Underdog, the gamer, is asking if there was a trophy that was really hard or too time consuming that has stopped me from getting the platinum. Not yet. The only games that have platinums that I can't obtain are the ones that have had servers shut down, but I can understand why you would say Personal Decorator. That one is a brutal one, and that is not one that I am looking forward to. Same with like beating Call of Duty Classic on Veteran, really not looking forward to that. But currently there isn't a trophy that has stopped me from getting a platinum outside of online games that have had server shutdowns. So hopefully in the future I will be able to go back and get some of those other games done. Michael Carrot asks if there are any games I couldn't platinum at all. That's sort of in the same field as what Underdog asked, and I don't really think there are any that I couldn't platinum that I currently have on my list that aren't online based, but once again, some of those really difficult ones like COD Classic that could end up being a challenge. So hopefully someday in the future I'll get through them. The Hunter 283 asks what my opinion on all the easy 1 hour Garbo plats is and if they are ruining trophy hunting. I believe they are, but I actually kind of want to do a video talking about trophy hunting as a whole, like the rise and fall of it up to the modern day. I do think that the easy 1 hour garbage platinums is kind of starting to ruin trophy hunting just because it's so easy now to get 100 platinums. Like you can get 100 platinums in under a week if you really wanted to. Like, I mean, Brian at PS4, PS5 trophies now, he got, what, 50 in 24 hours? So you could easily get 100 in 1 week or less than a week. Just if you did mostly Ratalaika games plus things like Slide, 1000 Top Rated, My Name is Mayo, Mr. Masagi, all that other stuff. So I do think it is hurting trophy hunting as a whole. It makes it a lot easier to get a lot of really quick and easy platinums. I mean, you don't really even have to put any effort into it anymore. But I, again, would like to kind of make a video about that at some point in the future, so we'll see about that. Ghost1317 Israel asks, what is the platinum trophy or regular trophy that you are most proud of? I would say that that would include the No Man's Sky permadeath mode trophy because that is not an easy one at all. Even though, I mean, it's not as hard now as it was, but it takes a lot of time as well. Then there's Attack on Titan Wings of Freedom. That was a massive grind, even though I really enjoyed the game. Call of Duty Classics Platinum, or no, Call of Duty World at War's Platinum, not Call of Duty Classic, got that on the brain. Killzone 2's Platinum, definitely. Even Infinite Warfare's Platinum, just because it has that stupid online trophy that's awful. So those are a few, and then Far Cry 2 Weapons Manuals one is definitely up there because that is a painful one, but I will be very proud to eventually get the Far Cry 2 Platinum because it will be by far my rarest Platinum. CJ asks about my top 3 favorite Ratalaika games. I haven't played anywhere near all of them yet, but of the ones that I have currently played, I would say Full Blast is up there. I would say Super Destronaut is probably up there. And if I had to pick a third one, I want to say, was The Long Reach a Ratalaika game? If it was, I would give it to them. If not, then I'm not really sure yet what I'd put for third. Just because it's kind of hard to remember all of them at this point because there's so many of them. There's like 82 now, I think. Jason Busseau is asking if I do multiple games at once or just focus on one at once pretty much. And it sort of depends on the game. Like with longer games, like with games like Star Wars Battlefront 2 that are longer, I tend to switch between different platinums, do other platinums along the way, or maybe focus on 1 or 2 major games at once, like what I've been doing with some of my trophy cleanup in the past. But when it's smaller games like these Ratalaika platinums and stuff, I just quickly get through them, you know, as quickly as I can, just focus on one at a time and just try to get through them quickly. Darren asks what is my favorite Fallout game, and my favorite Fallout game, I still love Fallout 3 and always will just because it was my first Fallout game, but I gotta say New Vegas for being my favorite and for being the overall best, even though it does have the technical problems to it. Reese Connor asks what is the longest platinum I have gotten. I might have answered that previously. at least with the trophy grind video, but my longest platinum, I believe, is Red Dead 2 or GTA 5. Although that's not counting like in terms of number of years it took me to get through some games. Like Call of Duty World at War, it took me around 10 years to get the 100% in, and it's not even the only one. There's a few others too that were like that. Some of the other Call of Duty games that I've gone back and cleaned up have taken, 5+ years. Killzone 2 took a number of years. Killzone 3 took even longer. Uncharted 2 took around 10 years to 100%, so that's a few different ones that took a very long time. Thornhorn7 asks what got me into trophy hunting in the first place. And I would say that what got me into trophy hunting was, once again, I started out on Resident Evil 5, and it just sort of got me interested because I thought, hey, maybe I can do this. Even though my first platinum was Fallout 3, and Fallout 3 isn't really challenging. I got it through mostly natural wanting to work on it slowly over time because I enjoyed the game so much. So it's really, I would say it was just, I felt like it would be something fun to do back in the day, and I'm glad I did. Built the YouTube channel heavily, and I've gotten to play a lot of games because of it. Sleepster1999C asks, what is the hardest platinum I've ever gotten? That would be either Killzone 2 or Call of Duty World at War, I would say. Far Cry 2 will be up there eventually, although, to be fair, Far Cry 2 isn't really all that difficult overall. I'd say that from everything I've read about even the single player, it's going to end up being around a 6 out of 10, just because of the absurd amount of time the multiplayer takes. But you can boost the whole multiplayer, which makes it much easier. It would have been a 9 or a 10 back in the day when it came out, though, that's fair to say. And then Invisible asked me lots and lots of questions, so I'm going to answer at least some of these. So he asked things like, what are my thoughts on microtransactions? Not a fan of the ones of the like loot boxes and stuff, although some games have done it better where they just make it so you can buy, single specific cosmetics that you want as a microtransaction. I have no problem with that, but as microtransactions in general, I don't think they're a good thing. I think they're just going to hurt games too much. They need to be relegated to free and mobile games and such more than anything. Are there any games that I'm intentionally avoiding? Mostly just series that I'm not as big a fan of, like Assassin's Creed or Dark Souls because of difficulty, even though I might eventually do them someday. I mean, I want to do Bloodborne at least someday because I already own it when it went free on PS Plus, and I own the DLC as well, so might as well do it at some point. But those are a few series and stuff that I'm avoiding. I'm avoiding some of the other just god-awful, terrible platinums and games out there, even though I do want to do Life of Black Tiger someday just because it's an easy 100%, and it would be probably fun to play on a stream just because of how awful it is. Have I played a hidden gem without knowing? That would actually be pretty much like Reverie or Oceanhorn were definitely a couple that I really enjoyed without knowing that I was going to actually enjoy them. Do I like any other genres other than first-person shooters? RPGs to some degree, for sure. Third-person shooters can be fun at times. I don't mind, Minecraft type of games, hunting, survival, crafting, simulator type of games are kind of fun as well. And then he also mentioned, have I ever thought about making like a trophy hunting collaboration? Yeah, I have. I just don't really have anyone else consistently to do it with that I would know of, because I had ideas of doing it at one point with like Corndog698, but he retired from trophy hunting, and then some of the other big guys have retired over the years or moved over to Twitch or kind of randomized with it. So maybe someday, I don't know. I think it could be cool to do like a podcast every now and then. Who's my 10 out of 10 partner or dream wife? Oh, that's so hard to pick. Like, I mean, I guess my favorite perfect 100% ideal would be maybe close to my height, so a little bit less than 6 foot tall, long blonde hair, blue eyes, southern girl, southern accent that loves gaming. I would like someone that's a mixture of girly girl and tomboy. So I guess I could say all that. I don't know if I have a 100% perfect ideal though. Have I ever baked a cake? I have not. And what made me start the Fallout cookbook recipes? I just thought it would be fun just to start cooking more when I got out on my own up in Cincinnati, and I certainly do not regret doing it. I love making those cookbook recipes. I think it's hilarious how badly some of them have ended up, like when I dropped the pot with the Nuka-Cola that ended horribly. Oh god, that was an interesting time, but I love making the recipes. My favorite mascot of a brand, I mean, I love my Clemson Tiger. When I was a kid, what was my biggest goal? I don't even know what I had as my biggest goal as a kid. I honestly really don't. Probably just to get through school and stuff and do well in it. I guess I would say that because I don't really think of anything else. Do I joke often or am I more of a serious type? I do joke quite a bit with people. I roast people that I'm around and we roast each other and I have no issues with doing it. We all do that together because it's fun and funny usually for us. Will I be playing Cyberpunk? Absolutely. The game looks awesome. Probably not day one, but the game looks awesome. Do I prefer PC or console? Definitely console. Genre of music, country, yeah, I know. I mean, I'm from the South, so it's kind of a given for a lot of us. What brand of water? I drink a lot of Perrier, actually. Did playing Destroy All Humans drive you to drinking vodka? Thankfully, no. I just remember that quote, "Get away from my vodka! Get away from my vodka!" I mean, I don't know why I can do a Russian accent. It makes no sense to me because I'm only like 1% Russian or something. Any celebrities that I like? I would say, like, right now, Kelsey Ballerini is probably my main celebrity crush. I used to have a huge crush on Jennifer Lawrence, but she's faded a little bit after the Hunger Games movies. Favorite food, I love steak. I love really all red meat, but I also love pasta and pizza. So mainly, like, meats and Italian foods are probably my favorites. Oh, and ice cream. I love ice cream. As an American, do I vote or do I leave it be? I vote. I vote. I have voted in... well, I didn't get to vote in 2012 because I was too young, but I voted in like 2016 and in all the midterms so far. I don't read comics or manga or stuff like that. I just don't really have time for it. I do watch a little bit of anime, but it's been a while since I have because I used to watch Attack on Titan. COVID is definitely a real thing. I just think that there's a lot of other controversies to it as to exactly how severe it is and how what is actually, you know, what the best way to combat it is, because things have changed so much, narratives have changed so much. One single wish, no matter how impossible. I would just say, how about $10 billion, honestly. I'd be fine with that. I mean, I don't need $10 billion to be happy by any means, but if I could have one single wish, I would say that, because I think then I could have... I would say, no, let me rephrase that. $10 billion without any fame, without anyone knowing that I got that money, I think would be the best way, because then I could remain obscure, quiet, happy in life. That would be an easy way to live life. I've never actually gone to any sort of protest. Which state do I prefer to live in? I love South Carolina, though I also love North Carolina. Do I like to travel often? Yeah, I enjoy traveling, but it's just been, you know, obviously can't this year with everything going on. Have I ever asked my parents why I'm an only child? I mean, I'm an only child just because I don't think they wanted to ever have any more children, and I enjoy being an only child for the most part, so can't really complain about that. Just occasionally there would be times where I would have preferred to have had like a brother or sister to play games and stuff with. I used to go trick-or-treating. I dressed up in a lot of Star Wars costumes. I don't know what I'd do. I'd have to pick something video game cosplay related. I don't do anything on Valentine's Day for the most part. I've never had a girlfriend on Valentine's Day. My New Year's is usually spent with copious amounts of alcohol or going out and trying to find a party or something. On my birthdays, I mostly just I eat good food, maybe have something to drink. I mean, I've worked on my birthday the last couple years, which is fine. Yeah, that's really about it for that. Guns, I love all my guns. I have quite a few different ones, but I'm not going to talk too much about that because I feel like we're probably being spied on by Big Brother, Facebook, and YouTube, and otherwise, and Susan and all of them. Cars, I'm not a big car person. I don't know enough about cars, sadly, which is kind of sad given how much I've watched Formula One over the years. For sports, I love college football primarily, as well as college basketball are my main two sports. Amusement parks, I used to go to Carowinds in North Carolina because it's in Charlotte. It wasn't too far away. It's not even that far away now, and it's a good sized park. It's got a lot of good stuff too. I have been to Disneyland. It has been many years, so I don't really remember, unfortunately, but I have been to Universal in more recent years, like Universal Islands of Adventure and the place where you can ride dolphins, Discovery, I think it's called. Not SeaWorld, but the other one. I don't remember having a crush on a Disney princess. Have I ever had a crush on a video game or cartoon character? Oh yeah, for sure. I would say Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, because she's awesome and very pretty. She's definitely up there. I'm sure that there have been a few others that I can't really immediately think of, but I'm sure I've had others. So, did any girl confess to you in your high school years? If yes, no they didn't, because I was a loser. No one cared about me in high school, so that's a good way to put that. As best I can tell, unless they did it and I didn't realize, which is certainly possible given my social awkwardness and anxiety, so I suppose it could be possible. Do I see myself doing YouTube ever as a full-time job? I mean, if I could get to that point of being able to do it as a full-time job, that would be cool, but I'm just not sure I would, or if it would ever be possible. And I mean, even if I did, then would I enjoy it as much? Would I enjoy it as the hobby that I enjoy it as now? Maybe, maybe not. I don't really know. We'll see if I ever get to that point. With the channel growth over the last couple years, hitting 1 million views and 3,000 subscribers more recently, guess you never know. You really never know. Take on copyright abuse. It's really screwed up. YouTube has a broken copyright system, though usually it doesn't hit me too hard, mostly only whenever I try to test stream like Star Wars Battlefront 2 and stuff. And then, favorite planet, I guess I gotta say Earth because we live here, though I'd love to be able to see other planets and moons and stuff someday. That'd be pretty awesome. So, answered lots of questions. This was a long video. This was probably like half an hour. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I answered pretty much all of your questions. And I'm sure I'll answer more questions in the future on streams and stuff. I can show off the folders and stuff on a future stream. So, thank you guys for 10 fantastic years. I don't have a drink with me, so I have some water. So I will thank you guys for 10 years, raise a glass to another 10 years, and streaming and everything that we're going to see. I'm just excited to sort of be back to it now that my internet and stuff is working again. So thank you guys for 10 great years, and that was to 10 more great years, hopefully, or hopefully even more than that.